Come on. There we are.
Welcome to the Liberty Collaborative, where the past meets the present in the fight for freedom. We uncover the roots of liberty, spotlight the people who shaped it, and explore what it takes to preserve it today. If you're ready to think deeper, stand stronger, and act with purpose, you're in the right place. Let's reclaim what matters most.
And good Thursday morning, everybody. You are listening to the Liberty Collaborative Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Aaron Bowman, here, along with K. Carl Smith, Mike Hancock, and Chris Coyle. You can tune in every Thursday morning from 10:30 to 11 to catch us live here on Facebook, X, YouTube, wherever else we're putting this. So welcome, gentlemen. How are you?
Good morning.
Good morning, guys.
So who'd like to start today with what's going on in their neck of the woods? Kind of just a quick recap of what we all have going on in our backyards.
Well, tell you what, I'll jump in because I
Chris.
think I got some things that'll link all of us together. We have a attorney general candidate who's doing a road trip tomorrow, meeting with folks in Northeast Connecticut. And in my message to everybody, I reminded them that tomorrow, Juneteenth Day, is a very important holiday for people who understand the unique distinction of our founding as a party of Frederick Douglass and Abraham Lincoln and what they stood for, and what Juneteenth Day actually was about Union troops riding all the way into Galveston to tell the slaves they were now free. And it's been hijacked and spun into something else. But what it is, folks, is our celebration of our Republican values, of founding values, constitutional principles, and everyone loves it. And some people, K. Carl, Michael, Aaron, go, I never quite understood what this was. I said, folks, this is your heritage. So we're celebrating, we're cheering on, and we're getting other like-minded Frederick Douglass Republicans to understand our unique distinction and be proud of it. So that's what we got going on here.
Beautiful.
Good stuff. Well, not much here happening in Alabama. Other than we just finished our primaries yesterday. The runoffs, the runoffs. Other than that, we're just pacing along here. I'm sure there are other discussions taking place. I just haven't been focusing on them lately. But churning away here. We finished. We closed the store on the 250 shirts. I think the total count he sold was 234, I believe. Most of them came from the local community here. He went to various churches, and I guess they just supported this young man. So he'll start production on those shirts. My son will tomorrow, and he'll have those shirts in the mail this weekend. So if you ordered a shirt from us, you'll have it delayed in Wednesday next week, Chris Coyle.
I'm ready.
Yeah.
All right.
So I'm going to wear this until then.
There you go. Make sure you wash it now.
All right. Well, here in Colorado, there's all kinds of progressive craziness that continues to go on. One of the big things right now is that I got wind of the fact that the progressive majority in the city council is putting together a plan to get rid of the police chief. And I think I've told you guys, since his time on board over the last couple of years, he's reduced crime overall by about 25%, and it continues to head down. We've got a police force who's they're really excited about finally being able to police again. But the Progressive City Council has decided that what they're going to do is they're going to call them forward. It's the police chief, it's the city manager, as well as the city attorney. They're going to do a performance review. And we all know what the result of that performance review.
Michael, I just got to say, though, what a crime to lower crime. I just think you fire a police chief who's lowering crime. I mean,
Michael, what do they want? What's their end game?
You know, we talked about, the show today to some extent being about retribution versus accountability, right?
Which we're going to talk about in a minute. Yeah,
exactly. And so these people, what they tend to do is out of compassion, what they're really doing is they want to fire the police chief and all these people out of compassion because we don't have enough homeless people, right? We don't have free toilets and showers on the street. We don't have places that these people can go. Even the navigation campus that we've invested in to help the homeless get back on their feet. They want to tear that down as well. So it's just crazy. It's
these people who wants to do these things, have they offered to open up their backyard and put up tents and some porta potties and invite the homeless there?
No,
and help this out a little bit.
No, but I'm pretty sure they're past some regulations or something like that that's going to force me and you to do exactly that.
Aaron, it makes us feel better here in Connecticut that it's not just here where we got wackos.
It does, and I'm not going to give an update right now because one of my dogs has not stopped barking. So I don't know if there's somebody here. So I'll let you guys take it. I will be right back.
All right.
Everybody wants a data center, but don't put it in my backyard. That kind of
right.
thing, right?
That's right. Don't drain my aquifer. I want my water for a hot shower. So, Michael, teeing off, we were going to talk this week, go back to a theme that we talked about a while back, which is how do you balance holding people accountable? Because the rule of law is not the rule of law if you don't enforce the rule of law, hold people accountable. But on the other hand, there's a very real issue that the law is used, and we've seen this in history, for retribution, targeting people. And we were talking about the fact that I think that Gavin Newsom announced that I'm being targeted, I'm being attacked by the DOJ. Trump's after me for one reason. I'm likely going to run for president. And it brought us back to sort of what you just brought up is it sounds like retribution against this police chief because he's doing his job. And so how do we balance all this?
Well, let's dig into it a little bit deeper, right? From the progressives' perspective, what they're doing really is holding him accountable, right? It's not retribution, it's holding him accountable. And what they're holding him accountable for are all the lies that they spread about what's going on. So it's a very psychologically twisted game that these people play. So while they are about retribution, and you guys saw the little mean guy that got up before the city council and basically called them to task for not doing what he wanted them to do. Their whole mode of operation is they're doing that to hold people accountable, but yet the people doing this totally abandon any accountability to the actual public. They're not making our cities safer. They're not making our roads operate the way that they should. They're not creating affordable housing for people. They're not making the city attractive for businesses to come in and provide high-paying jobs. They're really about dismantling everything that makes the city the good that it is today.
Yeah. In the case of Gavin Newsom, guys, from what I read, and we got to help our listeners, viewers understand this. If someone that is the highest level federal law enforcement has whistleblowers, that apparently is the case here, and other witnesses that apparently have agreed to cooperate and done a plea deal involved with Newsom that uncover credible evidence of crimes, the DOJ has a legal obligation, regardless of party, to investigate. So apparently that is a precursor, the beginning of what led to apparently several-year investigation that's already been going on, right, of real laws, real crimes, and real evidence and witnesses. That's what you need in modern society. Now, if you'll permit me for a minute, I want to contrast that. So if you go back to this attorney for the city of New York, was his name Alvin Bragg, I think it was, who makes up new offenses by conflating a federal statute with a state statute and literally makes up stuff. And as you might recall, that included somehow suggesting that even though the bank lent Trump money for his real estate development and got paid back plus interest, that Trump somehow had inflated the value of his real estate holdings to get the loans. As we all know, was ultimately completely thrown out. The judge was exposed as being a partisan. So that was someone who really wasn't enforcing any civil offense, any criminal. He made it all up. Everyone knew he made it up, at least the reasonable public, not the media of the left. In the case of Newsom, there's real investigation going, no charges yet. And I think people, guys, have to start to sort out and not conflate, well, both sides do it. No, I don't think that's true.
Is that what you call frivolous charges, Chris? When one side come up with, they know they can't win, but they want to do it anyway because of lawfare that one side practices?
Yeah, it's interesting, K. Carl. Here in Connecticut, we have, and Connecticut's got a rich constitutional history despite its lurch to the left. We have in Connecticut what's called vexatious litigation statute, where if you sue someone without merit, without a really justiciable cause, right, without evidence, with nothing, you can sue that person for 3 times the damages. So it cost you $100,000. You can sue them for $300,000. So that's exactly what it is. And as you know, Trump has sued. The best example is General Flynn. General Flynn sued the DOJ for malicious prosecution, whatever you want to call it. And ultimately, the DOJ settled out of court to make it go away. And it was multi-million dollars. And people say, well, Flynn was with Trump and it's Trump DOJ. No. He could have gone to court and won, and had the court would have forced the federal government to pay him a lot of money. And so the DOJ did what lawyers do, is they settle for a lesser result. So, K. Carl, you're dead on. That's frivolous litigation versus legitimate investigation holding people accountable.
And time will tell. Time will tell. And like in Trump's case and General Flynn's case, time did tell, and there was nothing there. But with the governor out of Newsom out of California, time will tell. And of course, he's screaming bloody murder right now. But like you said, I've done some reading on this. There are some things out there that his own party are concerned about, that his wife and was involved with her nonprofit, all that. So, but that's what the left does. They will circle the tents, and they will get a lie started to protect their candidate, Joe Biden. He don't have a mental problem. So that's what they do.
As attack, K. Carl.
Yeah, they circle the wagons to protect their candidates who are flawed. And so the Americans won't know what's going on.
Yeah.
And because they think we're stupid.
Well, and Aaron and Michael, you guys read a lot. I'm a big fan of the Free Press. It continues to grow. Douglas Murray is now writing for him. He's brilliant. And I disagree, as I've shared, with some things they post. But one of the things that is interesting here is you look at, and I brought up a few weeks ago, there are scholars that think Trump's DOJ going after Jim Comey is retribution. And that, gosh, that's so awful. And I counter with my disagreement saying, wait a sec. He was the number one law enforcement guy in the United States of America. He lied to FISA courts. He was involved in basically conspiracies to disrupt the new president who had come in, got off of all those. And then on the beach, he somehow comes up with these seashells that say, what was it, 46?
86, 47.
And they go, well, I said, one, everyone knows he didn't stumble them. He arranged them, but he communicated that, suggesting that's okay. And why would, if they can find evidence, and apparently they have, that he's committed similar threats or notions of threats, shouldn't law enforcement say to someone who's doing this fulminating violence? And this was, by the way, just days before that assassination attempt at the Hilton. So where is the line, guys, of retribution and accountability?
Well, Chris, I'm going to say this, Mike, I'm going to shut up. That's why they didn't want Trump back in office, because Trump was going to come after with all the crap they've been doing. And they wanted to protect all that and not be accountable. So that's why they went after, in my opinion, that's why they went after Trump before the election, make sure this man did not get in office. Wow. And so, because they knew this was coming.
Yeah.
So I guess what we have to do as individual citizens, we have to hold people who empower, that we give them the power to rule us. We got to keep them accountable. So we got to become involved in the legislative process. We got to know what's going on. You can't just sit back and just take what comes across the news. You got to do some extra work.
You got to get involved, right, Aaron? I've learned that here in Connecticut.
That's the big thing, is that people have to get involved and really dig in to understand what's going on. What I found fairly common is that people actually don't do that. They simply go with whatever their trusted news source or source of information might be. And for the most part, whether you look at the right or left, that could be very, very, very wrong, and ultimately leads you down a destructive path. The most destructive of which is that you're not really paying attention to what's going on. And when you don't pay attention, you can't hold people accountable for doing the things that they really should be doing for you. But then that also leads that, hey, do you even know what they should be doing for you?
Yeah, I got to say this. First of all, for those of you who are watching online, feel free to drop a comment and we'll respond here live. But again, this happens from California all the way over to here in Connecticut. You have the Democrats that come out and they, like you said, K. Carl, they will surround the wagons around somebody. I mean, right here in Mansfield, we've had our town manager has been out since April 13th is when he went out on leave. And he wrote a letter because we did FOIs. And basically it sounded like he was going to be shit canned, for lack of better description. Right. And we still have no answers. We got one little press release after I put something in the paper that there's an ongoing investigation. The first investigation, there was no substantial findings, but we still have further questions. Now, this guy's on full pay. He took a leave of absence by himself. The town council is like, hey, if you just go out on leave so we can do this investigation. They never put him out on it. They've never said, hey, we're taking some type of punitive action towards you. There's these allegations. We still have no idea what the allegations are. Again, lack of transparency. It's mind-boggling that people don't get more involved or frustrated with the process when there is such lack of transparency. And then if you do say anything, because I know there's probably people within the town hall or even council members that want to come out and say something and say, hey, I don't think this is right, or I don't agree with this. But that retribution, as soon as you say something, look at all the stuff I went through since 2024, Carpetbagger Bowman, the Mansfield Pirate, zero ideas. And it's just, I think they use that retribution to keep people from joining RTCs, from going to council members.
Yeah, look what they did, Aaron. I know you can't discuss the details because it's, there may be litigation, but guys, they used state agencies to try and investigate and intimidate Aaron's family.
Oh yeah.
Because he's been vocal. I mean, it is terrifying.
Yeah.
We have a situation here, just to give you an example, where the elected official is a Democrat, and it's called First Selectman, has labeled a gigantic solar project. The land on that project is a 180-acre farm, right? It was used 6 acres of it or less than 6% for a gravel area for bulky waste. They have it in the tax records as bulky waste, and they pulled the wool over it everyone's eyes. They're going to destroy forest and land, and they've totally missed. They're lying to the public. And then when you put information out, including their own reports that it's actually wetlands and stuff, you know what their paid Facebook administrator did? They attacked the person giving the information. So this is how they roll: lie, shut off information, then attack the people personally when they raise their hand and say, you might want to know this.
This is how they roll, and they get paid to do this. Case in point, I mentioned this in my book, Telling Conservatives the Truth, a true story. My brother was at a restaurant one day, and then he saw, looking out the window, he recognized an individual that he had not seen in about 30 years come inside the restaurant. And so he called the guy to the table. They started talking, trying to catch up. So, what do you do now? And out of this guy's mouth, according to my brother, he said, quote, I get paid by George Soros to play the race card.
Wow.
I'm not making this stuff up. Yeah. And my brother's in shock. He said, he asked him again, see if he would say the same thing. He repeated. I said, I get paid by George Soros to play the race card.
What is that? What's the paycheck on that? I'm just curious. Did he ever?
He drives a Bentley. I know that.
Oh, there you go. Boy, if that's not a hypocrisy, this is like I see Hunter Biden is now on talk shows, or it was on with Gavin Newsom. Talk about two wonder boys. So let's go back.
Chris, they think America's stupid. They think we don't know better. They think people
no, but
Democrats.
you're onto it.
They
Absolutely right. They think they can get away with it. So let's go back in history. This is a White House that can figure everything out, but apparently not who left the cocaine in the luggage room.
All right.
Gosh.
I can do that.
You know, remember that? Never solved it. So
I can tell who did it. His son did it. The president did it, man.
But guys, wait a sec. This is the same son that suddenly became a famous artist and sold artwork for millions of dollars. Now, if this sounds familiar, remember Hillary writes a book and someone like Soros goes, what a brilliant book. I'm buying $1 million worth of them. So these guys have wonderful scams. Well, now they're going after Trump for selling, I guess his kids got Bitcoin and this, that, and the other thing. So at least they're selling commercial stuff that people can choose to buy or not pretending like they are that Hunter Biden's artwork is good or Hillary Clinton's book is a Pulitzer Prize. These people have had these scams like Act Blue for years and they're being outed. Okay, Carl.
I didn't know that, Michael, that George Soros bought many copies that daggone book.
I don't know who.
It's a piece of
Hillary Clinton's book. People would buy them by the truckloads as a way to.
Chris, that's why they had to have that mass sale, and George Soros stepped in. They couldn't sell them.
Yeah.
So I have a quick question. So would you guys consider the defund the police movement retribution? Or
no, retribution is getting back at someone. I think it's preemptive when you destroy the rule of law. I'll start with this premise. I'll throw it around.
Okay.
When you go after the rule of law and you destroy the ability to enforce the law, it's one of the Lewinsky, the communist playbook, where you're sowing dissension and then violence in the street. So, guys, I don't know if you remember, but the George Floyd riots, my son was in downtown Seattle as things were bubbling up, and he sent me pictures of a pallet of brand new bricks sitting on a street corner in downtown Seattle, put there by somebody. What do you think it was used for? You guessed it. And the same thing in Minnesota and other towns, they delivered bricks. So I think, Michael, it's part of the scheme to pull apart our fabric of society.
Which is a Marxist strategy.
What happens when there's a somewhat of a resistance to the idea of defund police? Then what they do is they move from defunding police to dismantling the police. That's what I described to you earlier, right? You have a progressive city council that now what they're doing is they're dismantling the police department. They're going to fire the police, stick someone in to the police chief's position that will then be soft on crime. It's very subtle, if you will, but it's all in the same direction of dismantling, disrupting, destroying cities across this nation.
Michael, if they get us chasing around, spending our time and resources and energy trying to undo what they're doing, and they're doing 6 other things at once, it's what Trump did to them, really, is just overwhelm them with a ton of stuff happening at once, and they're learning and they try and use the same playbook.
Yeah.
And they're counting on the fact that most people have a short memory. We don't recall what happened 2 years ago, what the left did, and they're doing something now which is not new. If you go back 2 years ago, they're doing the same thing.
Yeah.
So it's all part of the revolution. It's all about mismailing, taking our society and having us going after each other to have eternal conflict. It's all part of the Marxist revolution.
Well, and Carl and Michael, I really want to give you guys a shout out, because over the years when I met Michael, you and Stephanie and Kay Carl, we had a common bond there, and Aaron and I got to know each other. One of the things I think is so meaningful to me, and I hope others about our message, it's one of shared values. It's one of coming together. We stand against people who would divide based on gender, race, and religion. We're about our founding values, and we take it seriously, which is for everybody. And I saw a nice lady had posted a message. When people understand that the way you fight us is you divide people. If I can divide people and get your victim group against their victim group, or the splinter group of 2 victim groups are now 3 or 4, that's exactly what they want. We're about uniting people back to our founding values. So, Michael, as I learned from you, George Washington warned us about political parties. Get rid of it, right? Kay Carl warned us it's not about personality politics. It's about values.
Yeah, Chris, and with going on with that and what this lady just posted, it was driving me nuts. So I had to search it real quick from James Madison. And he has a quote that says, "Knowledge will forever govern ignorance, and people who mean to be their own governors must arm themselves with the power which knowledge gives." And just like that lady said, I'm going to put that back up on here, that most people don't really focus on learning or being more aware. And they just go along to get along, and nobody questions anything. Just like, I mean, look at how many people, Mike, with the Black Lives or the defund the police or the Chad zone, what was that in Washington, where it was just total chaos. And people were like, oh, yeah, this is normal. Mostly peaceful protests, right? We're just going to go out. We're going to flip over cop cars. We're going to burn things. We're going to loot. We're going to, knock people out. And everybody's just like, yeah, it's kind of just how things are now. Like, let's not question it. It's crazy. And we need to be more knowledge and more involved with what we do.
Oh, Aaron, that was all peaceful.
It was. Right? Yeah.
Aaron, you just missed the peaceful part. It was about 30 seconds in there.
Yeah, exactly.
As they were putting more batteries in the camera.
Yeah, the peaceful part was running into CVS or the Walgreens and grabbing what they could and run away. And now what is it? Now in California, it's under a grand. You they don't even arrest you anymore.
Oh yeah, it's been that way for quite some time. Yeah,
it's just, where is the law? All this lawlessness. Why is it allowed to fester and continue to grow?
So if you guys will allow me, let me pivot this slightly that I think is very related. Everyone has watched that LA election. And so if you want to erode and destroy the rule of law, one of the areas to do it is in fair elections.
Yep.
And so we're watching, and I learned that, ready guys, a dot or a slash is okay on a voter registration form. Now, no one has figured out how do you validate a dot or a slash against government issued ID. Well, it's not a problem in California. You know why? You don't need a government issued ID.
They don't
it keeps going and going, and you're like, there is no semblance. There's no legitimate democracy in the world, a republic that has this, but somehow in California and LA, they get away with it. That's erosion of the rule of law.
They don't even verify IDs anymore. And even people who moved out of state get a mail-in ballot. You can register the same day and get a ballot and go away. And there's been videos of people in parking lots and paying homeless people to vote. And it's amazing that all those votes came in. It took 37 days or something like that to count everything or whatever.
And guys, you go to McDonald's and say, supersize me, and they hand you a whole sheath of ballots.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. No offense to McDonald's.
Oh boy. Yeah, it's interesting. Now we have what is it in Connecticut now, Chris? No
excuse. They got rid of no excuse voting.
Yep.
What is no excuse voting? What is that?
You can basically get an absentee ballot for you don't have to have a reason. Before it was like you're deployed, you're going to be overseas, you can't get out of your house, you have mobility issues. Now it's just like, I don't want to go to the polling, so just send me a mail-in ballot. So be interesting to see how that plays out with the midterm elections here with the gubernatorial race and down the ticket, how that's going to work.
Okay, Carl, question for you. I've seen Frederick Douglass quotes about the boxes, and I've heard there were 4 boxes, one being the ballot box. Someone else said it's the jury box. Can you tell us what was the actual quote about liberty rests on? Is it 3 or 4 boxes?
It's three boxes. the ballot box, the cartridge box. I mean, right, keeping bear arms, and the jury box.
Yes.
Okay.
Now, there's a fourth one we could put in there is the soap box,
Yes. Yeah.
but he didn't use that.
Yeah. Well, we're using it.
Yes.
Free speech.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. Well, we know that, and we've seen this in our little towns in Connecticut, that people were afraid to speak up and they didn't know how to speak up. And Michael, what you and Stephanie learned knocking on doors, and what you did and what K. Carl helped people do, like this Mr. Lamont down, I think it was Jacksonville, by simply
Lakeland, Florida.
By simply speaking the truth, giving people history, giving people facts, and not taking the red herring of personality politics, our message is getting through. We win.
Yeah. Hey, and since you mentioned that, the Guy Lalonde, a white conservative, won a city commission seat in Lakeland, Florida. That seat had been occupied by a black Democrat for 50 years. Wow. The incumbent was a black Democrat. Guy Lalonde went out there and campaigned on shared values. He won that seat back in 2023, and that district is 68% black. Democrats are pulling their hair out trying to figure out how did he do it, because they're running scared. And they should run scared, because people are voting based on values now. They want better. They're tired of this, the Democrats taking black folks for granted and Republicans ignoring them. Well, what Guy Lalonde did, he went door to door campaigning, and the incumbent took black folks for granted. He didn't really campaign. That's what did it. And of course, those shared values that Guy Lalonde articulated, saying that he basically believed what Frederick Douglass had to say, those life empowering values of Douglass.
Yeah.
That's what he campaigned on.
So I know we're getting short on time, Aaron. I would just offer this back to this whole idea of retribution and accountability. So, guys, we had a gubernatorial candidate named Aaron Stewart who was right on the cusp of getting the nomination. And things came out with a Democratic mayor who followed her term in New Britain, uncovering use of credit cards, uncovering, supposed nonprofits, and it keeps coming. And she dropped out, and now she's under investigation, including potentially federal investigation. And I think you guys would agree with me. Our standards apply to Republicans and Democrats. You can't go around acting like you're enforcing the rule of law and you want to lead people, and you cheated the system. Sorry. Right? We have another situation where a guy never showed up for his job but took his paycheck. As I said, Aaron, you've heard me laugh. He certainly knew where to find his bank, but apparently couldn't find his way to the Capitol to do his job. These are Republicans, guys. You have to hold them accountable. And it's holding Democrats accountable that are cheating, not doing their job. So accountability cuts both ways, and citizens have to own that right of holding everyone accountable that they elect. That's my statement, Aaron. I'll stick to it.
What you just brought to mind, Chris, is the fact that we should be teaching our kids this through the school. That's what civics, right, used to be about, but they moved civics out of school. We need to be teaching kids about the values that this country were built upon, and how to put that into practice on a daily basis, how to participate in civic governance, but also how to hold the people that we select to represent us accountable. That we've got to get that ingrained back into our culture.
Yeah, I agree with both of those statements. And I think to get back to the root of the question today about the retribution, I think the more people that get involved, that stand up, that ask questions, that run for office, that are informed about what's going on, not just nationally, but in their own backyard, because there's a lot that happens in your own backyard that you're not aware of. As more and more people start getting involved, I truly think that's when we'll see the retribution start to dry up, because they can only do so much. But the stronger we are together, the more we speak out, the more we're about our shared values, our constitutional principles, putting both parties aside, doing what's right, having that moral compass, that's when you're going to start to see this retribution start to take a back seat, because there'll just be too many of us.
I just have a couple things going to dive into what Mike just said. A lot of parents that we got to step up. I just wrote an opinion piece that's going to come out this weekend. It basically what you just said, Michael. Don't send your child into the world unprepared, meaning that they need to understand where the rights come from, because you're sending into the world unprepared for an ideological battle that's going to take place. It's not when it's going to take place. The question is, are they going to be ready when it does take place before they walk into that college classroom and they got that liberal radical professor? They have to know who they are and where they come from in terms of rights. The other thing is, just as a personal plug, the Friends of Freedom podcast, my own personal podcast, will be launched June the 30th. We'll drop new content every Tuesday morning. And don't forget, come to the website, get the book that we can't keep our hands on because the demand is crazy. Not Telling Conservatives the Truth, but the book is Douglas versus Marx, The Battle for America's Soul. We put Douglas and Marx in the same room. They never met. It's not my commentary. It's based on source documents. Douglas wins. He crushes Marx because Douglas was right. And we have history to prove that Marxism doesn't work.
Yeah. So, what I'd say is, Aaron, I think about what you said. The thing that we've got to make people aware of, though, that it does take courage to hold people accountable.
It does.
And the moment that you start to hold people accountable, well, progressives will call that you exercising retribution. So there's this psychological game that you have to understand that you're stepping into, and you got to understand more, because everything that you will do that stands for doing what's right, what's principle in for your fellow citizens, they will call retribution and turn it around and say that it's something that's bad. So I just leave our audience with the thought that you got to have you got to be courageous, and you got to dig in and understand that when that attack comes, you got to stand strong. And you can stand strong when you understand what our values are and what our principles are.
Absolutely. Well said, Michael. And everybody who's online watching, thank you for spending your Thursday morning here with us. And we're here every Thursday from 10:30 to roughly 11 a.m. And we appreciate you. You can also find us on Apple Podcasts and other places, not just here on the live feed. So with that said, folks, remember, stay woke, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks for joining us on the Liberty Collaborative. If today's episode lit a fire or gave you clarity, share it and be part of the movement.